Hello everyone. Sorry it's been a very long break I've been taking real quick. I've just been taking some time to spend on family and just, thinking to myself and stuff. Welcome to another episode of Gabe in Politics. Now, this has been very much something. Also, Happy New Year's. Merry Christmas, Merry belated kind of in a way. So something I really paid attention to recently, there's been lots of things going on recently, and I might have a whole list of what we're going to be doing today to talk about, but I really just want to be able to catch up with some of the main stuff that we've been seeing. Yeah. So first, Maduro. President Maduro, the Venezuelan president, has been recently captured and has arrived as of yesterday to the detention center, a Brooklyn detention center currently, where actually I believe that's the same one. I believe that give me a sec. Give me a sec. I'm just checking if it's the actual detention center. Yeah, it was the same one that Sean Diddy Combs, Ghislaine Maxwell, Sam Bankman-Fried, and Luigi Mangione, the infamous assassin, we're staying currently at this time that we've seen. But yeah, so my question is, because Mamdani was also sworn into office a few days ago, I believe. With Mamdani, you don't expect for them to try and make a deal here, because with Mamdani, he's very sneaky. He's very sneaky in a way. With that smile, he's very deceiving. And I can say it myself, because with myself, as you guys may know, I've talked about how we have a connection between Mamdani. But yeah, that, my family has a connection between Mamdani and his family kind of there. But the overall thing to say is that this prison they put, and just let me list you the charges real quick that Maduro is going through. Let me list you the not thousands, sorry, I don't want to escalate that bad, but the many of charges that Maduro is under currently at this time: narco-terrorism conspiracy, cocaine importation, possession of machine guns and destructive devices, conspiracy to possess machine guns and explosive and destructive devices. Let me continue to check. There's also apparently some other ones that were not listed with the primary four charges. So the unsealed documents they had with the alleged crimes that he done between also him and also his wife, apparently, ordered violence. So basically he ordered kidnappings, beatings, and murders against individuals who owed him drug money. Assassination. So apparently he assassinated a drug boss. Apparently. Passport fraud, where apparently he sold Venezuelan diplomatic passports to drug traffickers to help them move drugs, and misuse of state assets. Now, I'll tell you this, these charges are something, and also apparently, so because I'm filming this, the day before what we're actually doing, so Monday is when he's supposed to arrive to the Manhattan Federal Court. I wonder, and I truly wonder, how it's gonna go. Because to be honest with you, Maduro, sorry. He's very much something. He was VP until 2013, and then he became president since 2013. Isn't it obvious at this point that Venezuela is a authoritarian run state at this point? Well, like, not U.S. state if you're thinking about that, but I'm talking about foreign state. That's a whole different. If you guys don't know what that is, it means just nation or something. But it is already clear that it's an authoritarian rule. Obviously, it's obviously an authoritarian rule. Because if your leader is ordering murders, beatings, kidnappings against individuals, it means immediately that at some point there's some way that your leader is corrupt. We've seen it in the Soviet Union. We've seen it in even new countries today: Russia, North Korea. I want to list the other ones that we have on there. Iraq. Is there anything else we want to say? I don't know. Nah. But anyways, those are the many nations that just name where they've forced beatings. Not to mention the old Britain back then. Just say that. Germany did the same thing back in 1940. Obviously, they did the same thing. Almost. Well, they did something worse. Just say that. But at the same time, it is already clear that they are run over some sort of communist state. It is not a new thing to say here. If we did action before, if we found, and I think when people said that Trump did this illegally, where he sent missiles to those boats, if it wasn't for that, then we would have not been able to know any of this information at the time. And I'm not saying like I'm just a Trump me writer here. I'm not. Alright, to be honest with you, I agree with some of Trump's policy, though I'm not fully with that. Though I am also, I'm not a registered Republican, but I am, personally my policy, I'm a Republican slash conservative in a way. What we really like need to acknowledge is that the many nations where this happens, this exact thing happens, they apparently claim it that it's, but the president there has sovereign immunity, or they have diplomatic immunity. To be honest with you, this is the exact, that's where I want to go along with my foreign policy, where I want to end the whole diplomatic immunity thing, because diplomatic immunity, it allows people to abuse it overall. I remember around, I think it was like 2010s or 2020s. I don't want to foreshadow anything, but apparently it was where there was this case where it was a diplomat who would apparently ran over this one girl, this one teen girl, and had killed her in result of that crash. I think they said he was either drunk or so. I'm not sure. I don't want to, spread false information here. But yeah, it did happen where he was sending. But yeah, this is the thing. Diplomatic immunity is being so overlooked, where it's giving people authority to just be able to do whatever the frick they want. It's something. It's something. Excuse my language for even saying that, but we have to be able to set restrictions here, and be able to set restrictions within our own countries, and to be able to set restrictions within NATO, UN, etc. Because they'll keep getting away with it, and we can't let that happen. We can't let that happen. That's why I also want to defund the UN. The UN is a useless, and I'm sorry to even say it, a useless program, which just only insults our president, insults the US, it takes away funding from us, uses these other states to mock us, and etc. UN is a waste of time. We should not be partnering with such a program that disrespects our government so much. As you even saw during the second Trump administration, we've seen by his first year, we saw that they had shut down the escalators. They had told the teleprompter they told people not to turn on the teleprompter and more. Like, they literally disrespected our president that day. All because, he's gonna put tariffs on us. Oh no. Like, seriously? You show respect to our country, or else we're gonna we're gonna retaliate in response. That's what anyone would do in any sort of situation when that happens. Because the U.S. cannot tolerate this kind of disrespect. The U.S. cannot. It's disrespectful to us. It's disrespectful to our image. It's disrespectful to our people. And it's disrespectful to the nations working with us. It makes us look weak. It makes them look weak. Which we're not weak. We're not. And that's where I'm going to set it from. Also, apparently, Nick Fuentes. So if you guys don't know who this guy is, I'm talking about Nick Fuentes. He's a very far right wing YouTuber. Well, not YouTuber. He's a YouTube channel guy. He's a political commentator, and because he's a political commentator, many of the things he says are a bit out of line. I don't know if I can say what I wanted to say on here about him, but I can't even say most of the things he says. Cause yeah. Let's just, yeah. To say this, so Nick Fuentes, so he's very notorious for having many policies like hold on. Give me a sec. Alright, now I got it. So Nick Fuentes, he has very much policies that involve white nationalism and race realism. He wants to end all immigration, or put a pause at least to it. He supports authoritarianism. I don't know if I can say most of the things he said on here, but yeah. Let's just keep it at that. That's just yeah. And he also he opposes funding to Israel, and he opposes the separation of church and state and more. But he also thinks only Christians should hold office, and he said many things about Jewish people, and he also he's supported towards a certain guy. I don't know. I don't even know if I can say the guy's name on here, because yeah, I feel scared if I say it on here, because I have a feeling I'm gonna get canceled if I say it on here. But let's just say he had a mustache and he was in World War II. Let's just really say that. I don't want to continue on with that. But so he said that guy was cool back. He said that guy was cool. To say this, to be honest with you, current media, like, I don't know how to say this. The current mainstream media and how we get our sources from says the most bizarre things, and that is the exact thing I can say about and I can just redirect that back to the Democratic Party, where even in the Republican Party, we do the same thing, where they choose the most edgiest voices. They choose the most edgiest voices to spread their policy. They choose the most edgiest voices. That's why 2/3 of Democrats today identify as socialists. Heck, I know many socialists. I have friends who are socialists. I have relatives who are socialists. So to say this, the problem is that we promote too much of a, media where we're going for this woke ideology, and it's so much where we just want to get the most reactions out of people and get the most, And even JFK, he very much, he very much opposed towards this kind of sort of media way where they try to, I don't even have much words to even say for this one. I had this planned where I was gonna say something about this, but I feel scared to even talk about this because I know I'm probably gonna get banned. But yeah. Hopefully I do not get banned. So I'm praying on it, guys. Let's just hope that I don't get banned from after this. Let's just ban. Let's just I don't want to ban. Please, YouTube. Please, just please, YouTube. Alright, but anyways, I guess what else I can talk about to get off of this topic? I'm scared to do this. I'm scared to even continue on, bro. I'm scared. Alright, I don't know, I forgot about the other things that I wanted to talk about. I was so stuck on the whole Nick Fuentes thing and then the Venezuelan president talking about all of that, but I kind of lost track of what I was gonna say. Oh, actually, I wanted to talk about this one, but recently, there's been many controversy between a bill that Marjorie Taylor Greene was proposing to the same former Trump supporter, the congresswoman that I talked about a few weeks ago, I believe, well, a few weeks ago, but so they were saying that Marjorie Greene had opposed a bill, and she'd even posted on her Instagram where she stated about gender transition, that she was gonna ban it. She was gonna ban gender transitions. So something makes me to say this. This is probably the best thing in America. The reason why I say this is because with how banning gender transitions for minors, that was the whole point of the bill. Because to tell you this, because forcing your children into this kind of surgery, and this is what majority of the LGBTQ parents do. They'll say, "Oh, but I'll give you this choice." They'll say that online. They'll say that all the time. But then they'll actually force their child just to be, lesbian or gay on the camera. They'll force them to do it, and they will force them to implant that into their actual day-to-day lives. And it's sad to see that. It's completely sad to see that. If I and I know I'm probably too young to even say this, but if I had a kid, I would teach that kid to not be forced into those kind of things. That's peer pressure. That's what we call peer pressure. That's what we call peer pressure. It's too much. It's been normalized so much. We've seen literal YouTube channels where we've seen parents turn their kids trans. We've seen multiple of that. Is disgusting to force your child into that kind of routine there. You might say, oh, but what if the kid makes that what if the kid wants to make that decision? I'll tell you this, my personal thought on LGBTQ, personally, I think if you're over 18, screw it, do whatever you want. Alright, screw it, you do whatever you want. Yet, if you're under 18, we're gonna have to have some restrictions for you there, because we can't just give you hormones and just give you therapy that will turn you into this. But you know, it's something there, and that's where I agree with many conservatives there, where they want to be able to allow people to be those kind of things, but restrict those for minors. Because minors should not be learning at like a young age about, oh, this is the new color on the pride flag. They should not be having to learn that. That is something. That is very much something. Having that like kind of environment where they like are forced into this whole ideology, it's something. It's something. It's very much something. And I'm tired of seeing this online promotion of that. It's completely inappropriate to make your child go into that kind of like what are we doing at this point? What are we doing? Truly. Just truly. Yeah, to be honest with you, I completely support this bill, because it's where we have to eventually decide where, because if we then, and also like the common the common thing when we get into topics like abortion or these social policies, they say, like, many of these people in the Democratic Party, they state, oh, we want to put these offenders in jail. We want to put them in bars away. We want to send them to the most brutal punishment ever. If we really want to do that, then why are we also promoting giving doctors the ability to be able to just do that same thing, but then justify it as, oh, it's what the kid wants, oh, it's what the kids it's what they feel or something. Like, it's so insufferable to see that we're forcing that. We're forcing that. It makes absolutely no sense. Where you have that kind of way where we say, okay, we can justify that. And I think it kind of aligns with the same way how they put this way, how they say, we don't like the wild race. You can't say that. Oh, that's racist. Majority of the Democrats and liberals are white. Majority of them are white. Majority of them are white. How can you tell me from my own lived experience that I'm suffering as an African American economically, socially, or anything else? You cannot tell me that. You cannot tell me crap, because you have not lived that experience where, and I know many of my relatives who actually used to be slaves. I've known many of them who used to be slaves. My own great-grandmother, she used to be. But truly, do you think I just walk around telling other white people what they can or can't say about their own? No. How can you tell me? How dare you actually? How dare you tell me what my lived experience is as an African American? How dare you? It's truly where I can just say to many of the Democrats, look at your own race. Instead of opposing towards your own race, embrace your race. Right? I believe that everyone should be able to love their neighbor. Right? I mean, definitely not in that way, but in a friendship way, you know. And that's where then also it gets into the talk about interracial marriage too, where they also say, just let it, like literally, like, you cannot tell me from my own lived experience how I should live my life then. If you really say to these white people, saying, oh, you can't say that, that's racist. Oh, you can't protect that under freedom of speech, that's discrimination. Oh, you can't do that. No. If you're saying that as a white person trying to, say you're quote unquote defending the black race, then you, yourself, are the exact people you hate. Because you were telling other people how they should live their lives. Not to mention, their own Democratic Party was deeply involved in that kind of where they forced black people into the Jim Crow laws and forced and deeply opposed to the North Republicans, the North Republicans and wings, where they opposed towards slavery and they opposed against segregation. Actually, not to mention, Republicans were also the ones in 1920s who helped with the protests when women wanted rights. Literally, Calvin Coolidge was also supportive of that. Like, it makes no sense. And the reason why it aligns with that is because many people try to tell off of parent lived experience. You can't say that for others. You can't say that for others. There's many, activists who used to be trans and then detransitioned. And they say it's hell trying to live that life. They say it's hell trying to live that life. So how dare you try to tell me what my people went through, and how dare you try to tell me how to treat my family or how to teach my family in faith? How dare you try to tell me otherwise? How dare you? Because you don't know. You honestly don't know. You're uninformed. And that's where it is. Another thing I also would like to complete. And also, there's been a new thing with the whole Tim Walz, well, not Tim Walz, I believe, the whole Minnesota Somalian thing. The whole thing with that, people are saying this guy is just barging in with those daycares and just illegally doing this. It's for legal purposes. They literally submitted it to the president, and the president, in the literal White House, cuts that. They cut the funding for that. So how are you saying it's not legal? Please explain that to me. The president can submit proposals regarding around taxes or regarding around budget. Literally, that's the thing they have to do every year. They submit that to Congress, and Congress then votes on that and see where it is now. And not to mention this, there's been multiple people who are not American-born citizens here, and they ran for Congress and they won. For example, Ayam Amir. She was from Somalia, and then she moved here to the U.S. as a Congress member, and she open-handedly supported Hamas, a terrorist group who, not to mention, attacked Israel and has threatened other countries. How can you defend a person like that? And you guys might say, oh, but Gabe, you're just trying to spread false information. Check freaking interviews. Check public speakings and see if I'm lying or not. That is the whole thing there. It's the whole DEI thing. Like they'll move on from the actual standard people who have had actual experience, or have probably been president before, or have been involved in these kind of legislative bodies or more, and they'll move on to people who are more. That's the whole thing there. And they talk about how we're suppressing people with race as in the economy, like they're saying that we're not allowing majority of black people to have jobs. I'm a black person myself. My mom has probably one of the best jobs ever. My mom has one of the best jobs ever. I can say that myself. And we're still going ahead. I have this laptop right here, and I have a VR headset. I have whatever. I have multiple items. I'm able to go to school every day. I'm able to go to work voluntarily. I'm able to go to work voluntarily. I'm able to watch TV. I'm able to eat popcorn. I'm able to get fat or whatever. I'm able to do that stuff. How can you say? And that goes along with the same thing as I said about lived experience. How can you say that we're struggling? How can you say that? I have literally, we live in a good house. We live in a two-story house. My siblings, they're doing great. They have gone through college. They've gotten jobs. They've been known for probably the best voices. Multiple of them have been in debate programs like Model UN. How can you tell me from that? Maybe it's a lack of trying. Maybe it's just the fact that socialism, the very program that I've opposed so many times about, promotes where a person does not have to work. They don't have to work for the effort. That's why I deeply oppose to socialism. That's why I'm pro-capitalism. That's why I'm pro-growth. Because socialism just gives people where they don't work, they work less. A person should work to earn that money. If they haven't worked a day in their life, you do not deserve that money. I don't care if you're home. You did not deserve that money. You did not deserve it. You did not deserve it. You did not work for it like the many of Americans. I actually saw a video quote from Charlie Kirk. He said, "I live like a capitalist every day. Every day. I live like a capitalist every day. Myself, my mom, we live like capitalists every day." Because we, through free markets and through actual work, we, as a nation, because if someone just does and that's the same thing to why I also oppose where we're just AI and tech is just doing the work for us. If we don't put that work in, what's the point of paychecks? Because that's really and then they also say, and then also the socialists say, then we have to also raise how much work to get done. If they have these programs where they basically just replace the work for them, then how? Not to mention a very old-fashioned Democrat, JFK, for example, President JFK, he believed in that we, as a country, as the nation, America, should introduce opportunity, not replace it. He wanted to have opportunity, not replace it. He wanted that. You can tell me otherwise, but he wanted that. He deeply opposed against socialism. Even if you look at people like Franklin D. Roosevelt, he may have made those work programs. He may have made those programs during the New Deal. But did he give money to those people? No. He made them work for it. And this just goes to say, Democrats back then would have been conservatives today. They would have been considered conservatives. They say multiple times And historians, researchers deeply say that JFK was most likely probably going to be a conservative today. That's what they say. Based on his policy, he would have been a conservative today. He supported limited government, not to mention. He was pro-capitalist. He was pro-growth. He was pro-America. Does that mean that he just had conservative policies? No, he could have had liberal policies too. I believe what I saw, JFK had some sort of non-interventionist foreign policy, so maybe there's something there. But at the same time, something. It's deeply something. Yeah, that's just where I felt like it today. Alright, I'm gonna end the video off of here today because I really need to go to sleep because, had a long Christmas break. I'm probably planning on waking up at like 4 a.m. So let's hope that I'm not sleepy when I'm going throughout the day. Thank you guys for watching. It's been very fun to talk to you guys again and just say this. Remember, do not keep your voice silent. And just to say this, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. That's exact quote, by the way, from JFK. Thank you, America.